Hello everybody, welcome to another video in my series about taking cheap French horns and making them into, well, better French horns. In the first video of this series, I found a really inexpensive instrument on eBay and bought it, and after trying it out for a while, kind of decided that the tone quality really wasn't good enough for me to take it out and play on the gig. And in making that video, I realized that there was something that I should have stressed more strongly, and that is the importance of tone quality for all musical instruments, but especially the French horn. Tone quality, the beauty of the tone, is something that should come first in selecting any musical instrument. But on the French horn, tone quality is pretty much all we have. French horn is not like the piano where you can play 10 notes at the same time, or the trumpet that can violate local noise ordinances, or trombone that can make those really cool slidey circus notes, or like the violin that can play 68th notes or 67. Really fast notes, I don't know what they call them. And when we do try to do those things, I think it might be impressive to other French horn players, but it's not impressive to the music world at large. What we have is tone quality, and it's really superior. There's a reason why Tchaikovsky, when he was writing his famous solo at the beginning of the second movement of his Fifth Symphony, chose the French horn for that moment. He just realized it wouldn't have been the same on the saxophone. And Wagner, when he wrote his famous Siegfried horn call, realized it wouldn't have been very good on the E-flat clarinet. Tone quality is what we have on the French horn, and it's not always easy to tell when I play the French horn and it comes to you via a video camera and your speakers or your headphones, if that tone quality is really superior or not. It's also very difficult to tell in recordings, because there you're hearing the sound that the recording engineer wants you to hear. When you hear a real instrument played live and up close, it's like seeing a famous movie actor real, live, without any makeup on. It's a completely different experience. In this video, we're going to take some of the parts of that cheap instrument, and we're going to take some other parts from other cheap instruments, and we're going to tape them all up and see if we can get something that really screams. This is the part that I like the best. It's a lot of fun. Before we get to that, I'd like to ask you to go over to my channel, The Horn Guild, and check out some of the videos in my series, New Music for French Horn, because those videos were recorded using mostly instruments that I produced by this method, taking cheap instruments and making them better. If you want to see more videos like this particular one, then give me a like, and please subscribe. Maybe if this horn turns out pretty well, I'll write a whole piece for it and record it, and you'll get to see it in my New Music for French Horn series. Thank you so much for watching.
Here's my workshop. I guess the first thing is to get out some parts from my cellar. Some people have a wine cellar. I have a parts cellar. Under my workbench I have a bin that's full of lead pipes. Which one should I try first? All of these bells are from student model Chinese or very old American horns. I think I have one from Amati in Czechoslovakia, but the rest of them are American or Chinese. Picked out these 5 to try out initially. There's 2 kings. There's 2 from Chinese instruments. And there's 1 from Amati. French horn tubing joints are made inside a metal band called a ferrule. And in order to connect the bell to the valve section, I need to find a ferrule that fits both the new bell that I'm going to try and the old valve section. This first bell is from a single B-flat instrument that you can see on eBay. It's usually the cheapest horn that you can buy. And it usually goes for about $200 brand spanking new. Many manufacturers, not many manufacturers, but many companies sell these under different names. And I like this bell because it's in good shape, but also it has a detachable bell ring on it, which I like a lot. It's also quite a compact wrap, and I don't know if this valve section is going to fit inside it. Well, it looks like it just barely fits inside. But it's a nice compact size, and why carry around more French horn than you really have to? These bells are also very inexpensive to get. Key ingredient in trying out new bells: duct tape. But when it comes to duct tape, I don't recommend that you use cheap duct tape. Use very high quality duct tape made out of the very best ducts that you can find. Duct tape, if applied in the correct spot and applied carefully, seems to hold the horn together as well as soldering and joints do, and it kind of makes me wonder. Now, when I'm joining the bell to the valve section at the ferrule, I really need to have a very airtight fit. And so for this I use electrician's tape because I can stretch it tight and get a good airtight seal. You remember that we removed already the lead pipe from this particular section of the French horn, and because of the lead pipe not being in place, I'm a little bit reluctant to remove that main slide for very long, because that's one of the things that's holding the horn together at this point. I'm going to double up on the tape at the ferrule to make sure that it doesn't flex around too much. Now I need to have a lead pipe on this instrument, and I'm going to put the same lead pipe that was on originally because I want to be able to compare any future lead pipes I put on to this one. The joint between the lead pipe and the main slide needs to be very airtight, so I'm going to go over that with some electrician's tape. A tiny leak in this part of the French horn can wreak havoc on how the French horn plays. Even the tiniest of leaks that you can barely see from a leaky joint or a tiny crack, can really make an instrument difficult to play. Now I'm going to brace the lead pipe against the bell of the instrument so that when I actually play it and press it against my face, I don't bend it. On this particular lead pipe, doesn't fit exactly the same way it used to because it's a different size bell, and this stretch of the lead pipe is, well, it's very vulnerable to bending. So I've made a little temporary brace out of a piece of hard foam that I think somebody sent me in a box when they sent me a French horn, and I'm going to put a piece of duct tape around that piece of foam to hold it in place. That'll keep this lead pipe from bending. Okay, let's try it out. Bell number 1. Doesn't appear anything's going to fall off the instrument. You know, I think a mouthpiece would come in handy right about now. Oh well. Did you ever have a rule for yourself that you don't buy the first used car that you try out? You always promise to do 2 or 3 more before you make your decision? This bell is from a King double horn. It's a little bit more of an open wrap, and so the valve section doesn't fit inside as perfectly as it did with the last bell, so I'm going to have to put some of my little temporary braces in there and tape them in place so that the horn will hold together while I try it. This bell is quite battered, has a lot of dents in it, but that doesn't scare me away from it. Some of the very best sounding bells I've had have been beat up the worst. Whenever taping horns together, I have to make sure that I don't tape the valve section so close to the bell of the instrument that I can't get the third valve slides in and out. That's a mistake I've made a couple times. And once again, I'm going to reinstall the original lead pipe. Clearly, this bell plays wrong notes. So I'll pick up the speed a little bit, take this bell off. I really wish there was a way that you could judge the sound quality of a bell by banging on it with your knuckles. It would save a heck of a lot of time. So the next bell I'm trying is from a King single B flat. King single B flats seem to be widely available on eBay. They're also very inexpensive instruments. They sound quite good too. I happen to own 3 of them. Well, that bell sounded pretty good to me, but I think that the litmus test is to take it in my music studio. And to try it against some of the instruments that I know a lot better. I have a Con 10D with a Chinese lead pipe and an Olds bell. I play a lot. My favorite horn, though, is a mix that I made up of a valve section from an Amati horn from Czechoslovakia and a huge Selmer bell. Evidently on this new bell you're supposed to press the right buttons down. Well, I think that was a pretty good experience. Now let's see if a new lead pipe will make it feel a little better. So I'll take off the old lead pipe. I have a preference for trying out lead pipes that are bent approximately the same as the original lead pipe. It's very difficult to bend tubes to just the right dimensions, and I'd like to avoid it if I can. Yeah, lucky first time. So the process now is that I just keep trying lead pipes. taping them in, trying them out. So these 3 lead pipes seem to be about the most appropriate, the best feeling. This one is a king single B-flat lead pipe. Kings are not especially well reinforced near the mouthpiece, and so they do get a little bendy there. This one is from a Holton 180. I've never owned a Holton 180 before, but that's where that lead pipe comes from. And this is a lead pipe from a single B-flat instrument made in China. Has no markings on it whatsoever. I guess I'll just try them out. So what did you think? Any thoughts? Write them in the comments below. If you like this video, give me a like, and I'll know to continue to make more of them. If you want to hear some of my original music for French horns, please check out my channel, The Horn Guild. Thanks so much for watching.